The New Testament. Most of the 66 books of the Bible relate to the time before the birth of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity, who is described as the Son of God. The final 27 books, known as the New Testament, start in around 5 BC and tell the story of Jesus and the early days of the Christian Church, which was founded by his followers. The Gospels. The first 4 books of the New Testament are known as the Gospels. They were written by 4 different men and focused on the life and death of Jesus Christ and his resurrection when he came back to life. They explained that Jesus was the Messiah, the Savior or leader that the Jewish people had been waiting for, who was written about in the Old Testament. The writers were Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All of the Gospels are based on eyewitness accounts and were written down about 30 years after Jesus. Matthew and John were among the 12 disciples, a group which Jesus recruited as his first and closest followers. Mark was a younger man and one of a bigger group which also followed Jesus. Luke was a doctor. He also wrote the book called Acts, which comes immediately after the 4 Gospels. John also wrote 4 later books, including Revelation. The Gospels are not identical, although the core events are the same. This is not as strange as it might seem. They were intended for different audiences. Matthew, for example, was writing for a Jewish audience. In fact, some might say it would look suspicious if the 4 accounts were exactly the same. It is rather like 4 newspapers reporting on an event. Each will take its own angle. Some stories about Jesus' life appear in every gospel. Some stories are just in one of them. The Gospels tell about the Jesus birth in Bethlehem, a town just outside Jerusalem about 2,000 years ago. This is the event that is celebrated at Christmas. There's not much information about Jesus' early life, although it's known he was a carpenter and lived in Nazareth. Most of what's in the Gospel books concentrates on the last 3 years of Jesus' life, when he traveled around what is now Israel and the West Bank with his disciples, teaching crowds about God. He also performed miracles, healing many people who were sick. Jesus' teaching forms the foundation of the Christian faith. Some of it is very well known. For example, the Gospels of Matthew and Luke both report an event called the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus spoke to a crowd on a hill overlooking the Sea of Galilee. He told them about people who were blessed, or would experience a deep inner joy from God. Blessed are the merciful. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who hunger for justice. Some passages describe events, others are stories or parables, which Jesus told to make a point. One famous parable describes an outsider, the Good Samaritan, who helped someone who had been beaten up and robbed. The Gospels tell how Jesus was eventually betrayed, put on trial and executed by the Romans by crucifixion. And then how he rose from the dead and continued to be with his disciples for 6 weeks. Jesus' death and resurrection are the heart of the Christian faith.